Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. It's a snow day, as you can see. Finally, this weather that's been hanging over us for over a month has descended. And of course, everybody's a little grumpy because they're outside and throwing snow around. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. Grumpy people, yes. The snow, not so much. You see, Silverlight went and got himself in trouble. It's actually kind of a funny situation. Um, as I was showing you an episode or two ago, I think it was 2 episodes, I like to play games. And in one of the forums that I went on, Battletech, I'm not going to hide it. Battletech is a very old game. It's since the 80s, so about 40 years old, going on 50. And it's a very good game. And the company was smart, and over the years they expanded their literature and lore to the point that they created characters and interesting people. And I submitted a post to the forum that very simply said, one of the good things about Battletech being a product of the 80s and 90s is that there's a lot of strong female characters, and they're not there to scream and to look pretty and to give that 10-second plot exposition the hero needs to figure out. No, they're independent warriors. It shows a very equal society. I put it through, and the administrators have to approve every post. And they approved it, because one of the administrators actually responded, and she said that she liked Battletech as well, because it allowed her to picture herself as almost anybody. People were able to see exactly what they wanted in the product. And I thought that was good. Until the first response came through. Don't try to stick your politics in my game. Now, I did one of those rare things on the internet. I let it go. Yeah. I just said, okay, guy's having a bad day, whatever it is. His experience is not equivalent to mine. And people just got into this little flame war over, I should say, I should specify before I said that, I left a throwaway comment in to cover my own butt. And I said, it wasn't so good with LGBTQ to whatever the acronym is today. But in the 80s and 90s, that really wasn't a thing. So it's hard to blame them for not doing something that simply wasn't a thing. And I think a lot of people triggered off that, even though the vast majority of my post was about how it treats women as equals. Natasha Kerensky went from being a mercenary to being the Khan of one of the clans. And it's just one of the plot lines is her working her way up. Women are viewed in positions of power as if it's a normal part of existence. It's not like the Queen of England, where it's strange there's a queen instead of a king. It was just simply the way things were. It was accepted as a part of the social hierarchy. And this is way before Game of Thrones or anything like that. They were doing this in the 80s and 90s. Well, like I said, a little flame war erupted with this gentleman who was trying to tell people to keep their politics out of his game. It wasn't politics. As a matter of fact, it was the opposite. It was recognizing Battletech for being ahead of the curve. That's a compliment, no matter how you look at it. For some reason, people just want to get triggered over these issues. It's 2022. You know what? I cannot tell you with any certainty what any of my neighbors started off as. I could be surrounded by LGBTQ people and never ever know it. My friends, I can tell you, a couple have decided that they were not satisfied with the way they are born. Now, not a problem. When I was younger, I didn't have the the mental maturity to deal with such a thing, but that's simply because when I was younger, it was the 80s. And yeah, things were very different back then. Homosexuals were still appearing on Phil Donahue and Oprah, and, they were considered strange and exotic. Well, these days we have no problem with it. But the fact that somebody saying a game is equal for the 80s can trigger a flame war in 2020 too shows just how far we have to go as a society. And it's quite frankly depressing. Silverlight is a straight male. I think they call it cis and heterosexual, cis het or something like that. But at the same token, I've had friends of alternate preferences for a very long time. Just because they have a little bit different wiring than me doesn't mean a darn thing. But people are still so invested in their sexual political identity. Who cares? Like I said, the next door neighbors, I have no idea. They have kids of various ages, young, old, etc. I have no idea how they identify. And you know what? It doesn't bother me one bit. What happens in their house stays in their house. They want to have a little party and get together and stuff like that. No problem, because it affects me 0%. But some people think it's their business. And if you even mention anything about it, you have a political agenda. No, my political agenda was simply acknowledging that this game I enjoy has no gatekeeping. And anybody who tries to gatekeep with it is going against the lore. They're going against what needs to be done. We're letting new people in. So if that's political, then okay, you've apparently missed the purpose of the game. Why we choose, the games and activities that we choose are reflections of ourselves. But we have wrestlers, hockey players, and football players coming out as you name it on the spectrum. Who cares? Now, I will admit, when it comes to the Olympics, I'm a little bit, I don't want to say uncomfortable, but I think we need to do a better job defining the role of male and female, because yes, it does seem like there is an unfair advantage for a man transitioning to a woman and choosing to participate in the sprints, etc. And that's simply because of the way men and women build up their muscles differently. It's nobody's fault. It's just the way things are. That doesn't mean they should not be allowed to participate. It's just, how can we make this fair for everybody? And if I was going to go out and play tennis, I suck at tennis. So whether it's female or male, I don't care. They're going to kick my ass. Because that's just the way things are. They're better than I am. So at the highest levels of tennis, okay, I get that there's a slight competitive advantage, but I prefer to watch women's tennis. And not just because, they're running around in short skirts. No, because men's tennis, it's just, one shot and the guy's out. Whereas the women's tennis, there's a lot of back and forth. That's why I like women's curling. It's a lot of back and forth. I'm not a big fan of either, but I mean, as I said the other day, if it's on TV and I'm at your house, I'm not going to complain and ask you to turn it off. This whole idea of sexual identity as politics is disturbing. I mean, you are what you are, and you are what you want to be. I can't say squat about whether you choose to identify as a male, female, asexual, whatever is up to your mind, because that's who you choose to be. And that's the way it should be, in my opinion. Some people are going to abuse it, yes, because people abuse everything. And you can't ignore an entire system set of people because a small percentage decide to abuse whatever they're doing. Because, like I said, every single thing you do, someone's going to abuse it to try to get extra rights, extra whatever. So be it. Why should we ignore the majority to enforce a minority of people that are abusing the system? And why are we trying to make any political issue out of it? The rights are equal. There are steps in place so that they can ensure their own equality. And yes, I will admit, some people feel uncomfortable with them. That's not such a bad thing. Yes, we want everybody to feel lovey-dovey and start singing Kumbaya and hold their hands. But the true truth is, people have a lot of hang-ups, whether it's they don't feel comfortable around disabled people. Not Silverlight, but some people do. Some people don't feel comfortable around members of the LGBTQ community. Not Silverlight, some people. And it's always going to be that way. Just a fact of life. So what I would like to say is, if you feel the need to express your opinion, by all means do so, but really think about what you're saying. Because chances are, when you start going up against these groups, it's not going to look very good for you. And the honest truth is, it was a throwaway line. It was simply so that I could cover my backside in case somebody say, yeah, but they don't help with LGBTQ. No, they don't. They did a great job with women, which was very progressive for the 80s. Again, look at the major movie franchises and stuff. Women are there to scream, look pretty, seduce the hero, be seduced by the hero, or provide 10 seconds of plot exposition. And this is something we're still in today. That's not political to say that. That's a fact. We got to get rid of that mentality. We got to get back to the mentality of we're all humans. We need to come together. We need to make the world a better place. And that includes, as the old saying goes, my Canada includes every human being here. And that's the end of that. So, next time you're on a board and you decide to make your opinion heard, by all means you should. But try to think about what you're saying, because gender politics and gender identity are completely different things. And maybe, just maybe, it would be better off doing what I did and saying nothing. For the record, even though the thread was approved by the administrators, they had to take it down because the whole community went absolutely insane off what was a compliment to the game. But that's the type of people in the world that we have. They're so full of themselves that they want to make it about themselves. They want to make whatever issue that they have about what they think. I didn't involve politics in the game. I made a positive observation. Somebody else decided to see it as involving politics. And that's a shameful thing. But that's all on them. They got the thread taken down, not me, because the administrators all thought, hey, this is a great point. This is something we should all be proud of. So either we all have a political agenda, which I've had disagreements with the people before, with the administrator before, but they've been respectful disagreements. And in this case, the administrator approved my post. It was the people responding to that post that made it I'll say it, because nobody listens anyway, it made it the shit show that it is. But anyways, we wish to thank you for joining us for the Silverlight Show today. If you liked it, please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to buy the merch, which are the books below, and we hope you have a fantastic day.